Welcome to Africa. Good morning, your portal into Africa's important stories. Today, Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan announced a major cabinet reshuffle, appointing her daughter and son-in-law. South Africa is hosting the G20 summit without U.S. President Donald Trump, opening new leadership prospects. Meanwhile, Zambia and Eswatini received the first doses of the HIV prevention drug lenacapavir, though South Africa is excluded. TotalEnergies faces serious war crimes allegations, and this is over Mozambique massacre. And India steps in to assist Botswana amid critical medicine shortages, as well as Smart Africa Alliance propelling Africa towards a single digital market by 2030. We'll also be bringing you highlights from Bank of Namibia's symposium, which had a specific focus on the creative economy in the country. DSTV 285, GOTV 25, 1up2.com, NTVAFRIKA.MY.NA, and NTV Africa on YouTube are precisely where you can find the show. That's Africa with a K. My name is Ashwin Berry. Top stories shortly.
Life is unpredictable, and one needs to be protected against any eventuality. Get Santam legal access from as little as 50 Namibian dollars a month for when you find yourself in need of legal representation due to civil cases, criminal prosecution, and family matters such as divorce, child maintenance, and custody. It also covers labor disputes, disciplinary hearings, and unfair dismissal or retrenchment. With Santam Legal Access, you'll receive free legal advice on almost every legal aspect, whether the specific matter is covered by your policy or not. For true peace of mind and legal protection when you need it most, call us on 061 292 8000. Santam. This is freedom.
This week's decisions, today's debates, tomorrow's consequences. The agenda puts the spotlight on Namibia's most pressing issues and the people driving them. From headline makers to groundbreakers, we bring you voices and perspectives at the center of the national conversation. One story, one interview, the depth you'll not find anywhere else. That is the agenda.
Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan has named her daughter and son-in-law to key positions in a significant cabinet reshuffle announced on November 17 from Chamwino State House in Dodoma. She introduced 27 ministers and 29 deputy ministers during a televised address. Wamu Hafidi Amir, her 43-year-old daughter representing Makunduchi constituency in Zanzibar, was appointed Deputy Minister of Education. Mohamed Mche Ngerwa, her 46-year-old son-in-law and lawmaker for Rufiji constituency in the Pwani region, was named Minister of Health. The reshuffle included the replacement of 7 senior officials from the previous cabinet. Also included is Ridwani Kikwete, son of former President Jakaya Kikwete, who will serve as Minister of Public Service Management and Good Governance. Finance Minister Kamis Musa Omar replaces Mwigulu Nchemba, recently appointed Prime Minister, while Mahmoud Tabit Kombo continues as Minister for Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation. This reflects a regional trend where leaders appoint family members or close allies to government posts, as seen in Uganda and Rwanda, with similar familial appointments and denials of dynastic grooming. Donald Trump's absence at G20 summit in South Africa is going to open leadership opportunities. The first G20 summit in South Africa, hosted by South Africa on November 22 to 23, faces the notable absence of the U.S. President Donald Trump, who boycotted the event amid accusations against the host nation for mistreating white people in South Africa. Washington also rejected South Africa's summit agenda focused on solidarity, climate resilience, clean energy transitions, and debt relief for developing countries. Despite Trump's absence, this summit provides an opportunity for other nations, notably Europe and China, to assume leadership in a vital forum. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa plans to symbolically hand over the G20 leadership to the next host, implicitly to Trump, who won't attend. Influential leaders such as Russia's Putin and Argentina's Milei will also be absent, highlighting diplomatic rifts for some. South African experts suggest Trump's non-attendance might reduce disruption, allowing other leaders to highlight Africa's growing economic and mineral wealth. The summit's ambitions include addressing climate change and fostering equitable mineral resource management, though critics caution multilateralism remains challenged, and this is amid geopolitical tensions and U.S. policy stances. Now, we're talking about the first HIV prevention drug doses being delivered, approximately 1,000 doses of the HIV prevention drug lenacapavir were delivered to Zambia and Eswatini, marking the initial distribution under a U.S. initiative targeting countries with high HIV prevalence, according to officials from the U.S. and Gilead Sciences. Each country received around 500 doses as part of efforts to expand access in sub-Saharan Africa, which continues to bear the brunt of the AIDS epidemic. However, the United States will not fund doses for South Africa, which has the largest population living with HIV, about 8 million people. Jeremy Lewin, a senior U.S. State Department foreign assistance official, emphasized that South Africa is encouraged to finance the drug independently. The delivery follows a September plan to provide lenacapavir at cost to high-burden countries via programs like the Global Fund and PEPFAR. Gilead is seeking regulatory approvals in several other African nations, with CEO Daniel O'Day affirming partnerships to expand access. Despite previous U.S. aid cuts during President Trump's administration, which limited drug availability for vulnerable groups, global health officials laud lenacapavir's potential to drastically curb HIV as a public health threat if deployed swiftly and widely. TotalEnergies is facing war crimes charges, and this is in Mozambique. French energy giant TotalEnergies denies allegations of war crimes in relation to a 2021 massacre near its multi-million-dollar gas project in northern Mozambique. A complaint submitted to French prosecutors by the European Center for Constitutional and Human Rights accuses Total of complicity in torture and execution of civilians held by local security forces in shipping containers at its Afungi Peninsula facility. The government troops guarding the project were involved in a deadly reprisal following Islamist attacks in Cabo Delgado province, where militants had overrun Palma, a nearby town. Investigative journalist Alex Perry described the incident as the deadliest disaster in oil and gas history, with at least 97 documented civilian deaths, possibly twice that number. Total rejects responsibility for government forces' actions. The British government, initially supportive with financial guarantees for UK companies, suspended backing after the bloodshed. Environmental groups urge withdrawal of UK and Dutch financial support, citing concerns about Total's alleged disregard for security and humanitarian issues. While supporters highlight the project's potential for regional development, critics warn of environmental and ethical disasters linked to similar controversies in other French corporations. And India is assisting Botswana to overcome medicine shortages during historic presidential visit. India has intervened to help Botswana tackle a critical shortage of essential medicines, with availability reportedly as low as 36%, announced during a joint media briefing by Botswana's President Duma Boko and Indian President Draupadi Murmu. The visit, marking the first ever by an Indian head of state to Botswana, signifies a historic milestone in the six-decade relationship between the two nations. A series of agreements aimed at enhancing bilateral cooperation was signed during the visit, strengthening ties ahead of the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations set for 2026. President Murmu's trip underscores a deepening partnership focused on health and development at a pivotal moment as Botswana confronts acute challenges in medicine supply. This strategic collaboration exemplifies renewed diplomatic engagement and mutual support between the two countries. Those have been our top stories on Africa. Good morning. After the break, we return with the Bank of Namibia Symposium, Unleashing the Power of the Creative Industries. Stay with us.
Harness the creative sector as a driver of economic transformation. This question challenges us to shift our perspective, to see creativity not merely as a culture or entertainment, but as an economic enabler, frontier capable of unlocking innovation, deepening diversification, and most importantly, creating jobs and restoring dignity. The Namibian creative landscape is active and diverse. It includes musicians, designers, painters, filmmakers, writers, digital creators, visual artists, craftspeople, and cultural entrepreneurs in every region. These individuals and enterprises shape how we see ourselves and how the world sees us. They tell our national story. They are our storytellers. They are instrumental in promoting inclusion, generating employment, and driving innovation. They demonstrate that culture is not just soft power. Culture is economic power. Currently, Namibia's creative sector contributes 1.5% to gross domestic product, but our aspiration, as spelled out by the President in the National Development Plan, is to take that contribution to 3% over the next 5 years. The importance of nurturing our creative ecosystem cannot be overstated. It lies at the intersection of economic growth and job creation. Imagine a Namibia where every young person is educated, empowered, employed, and engaged in meaningful work. That is the vision we all share. A future filled with opportunity, a future filled with potential. However, we must confront the challenges that have hindered our progress. Our creatives are not lacking in talent. They are stifled by the absence of financing, faced with disorganization within the sector, and limited by a dearth of opportunities. To catalyze growth and innovation, we must leverage technology to scale our reach to a global audience. Through social media and other tools, creatives can monetize their talents, skills, and knowledge, whether through brand deals, digital products, subscription services, or even merchandise. As we know, innovation compounds. It promotes the development of new ideas and solutions. while technology enables us to share them with the world. I'm heartened by the commitment of the Namibian government to privatize creative industries as a crucial driver of economic growth and job creation. This recognition is a testament to the valuable role that creativity plays in our society. At the recently concluded Namibia Public-Private Forum, Her Excellency the President of the Republic outlined a national vision of creating 500,000 jobs over the next 5 years. That is a remarkable and ambitious vision, necessary for a youthful country whose greatest hunger is not only for opportunity, but for platforms to contribute meaningfully to the nation's future.
Digital natives of this generation is clear. I wish for you, as President, that you move from being consumers of global content to producers of uniquely Namibian stories, products, and ideas. Your creativity should not be perceived as a pastime. You have to understand that it is an economic force and you must respect it as such, and that it is your contribution to nation building. Therefore, we wish for you to embrace the opportunities in the film, fashion, in music, in all that has been mentioned, crafts, all in the creative industry. Ladies and gentlemen, I urge us all, therefore, to align our policies, our institutions, and our imagination to build a Namibia that is not only stable and resource-rich, but also creative, innovative, and opportunity-rich.
All right, so as a musician looking locally here, I'll pinpoint a couple of things. One, wherever you are in Namibia, there are not sufficient performance venues. And please, when I speak about music, I also want you to look at it from the point of view of any other discipline. So, meaning also the visual artist has no place to exhibit their works. The old community halls that were built with halls with roofs as high as this one, with acoustics that sound like it was meant to be a torture device, torture chamber where you would thrown in and people would hit cans and the noise would just overwhelm you until you confess to your crimes. Those halls, I don't know what they served back in the days. They've not been renovated for over 30 years. Even our town hall meetings when we had our late president were not flowing that well because they couldn't hear each other. But that's all the halls or performance venues that we have in Karabeb, in Omaruru, in Ucho. That's all we have.
us every weekday evening for the Evening Review as we unpack the issues shaping Namibia. From politics and economics to culture and community life, our team delivers sharp analysis, expert insights, and conversations with Namibians across society. It's not just the headlines, it's the full picture. Stay informed and engaged with the Evening Review.
Let's get into our economic news story. Africa is making steady progress, and this is towards establishing a single digital market by 2030, an ambitious goal championed by the Smart Africa Alliance. The 7th Transform Africa Summit, held in Conakry and organized in partnership with Guinea's government, gathered heads of state, policy makers, and technology leaders for 3 days, marking the first time Francophone West Africa hosted the continent's premier technology event. Under the theme AI for Africa, Innovate Locally, Impact Globally, the summit highlighted Africa's commitment to harness technology for sovereignty, economic growth, and inclusiveness. Smart Africa's key initiatives such as Samia and the Smart Africa Data Exchange platform were spotlighted as tools to break down ecosystem silos and connect investors, startups, and institutions continent-wide. New strategic partnerships unveiled at the summit aim to boost digital skills, payments, data exchange, cybersecurity, and female leadership. These steps advance Smart Africa's vision of a competitive, interconnected, and sovereign digital Africa. Founded in 2013, the alliance now includes 42 member states and has evolved into a fully operational institution implementing large-scale digital projects across Africa. Those have been our stories on Africa Good Morning. Let's have a look at the economic indicators before we say goodbye. Thank you for staying with Africa Good Morning throughout the broadcast. Today we spoke about Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan reshuffling her cabinet and appointing family members to key roles. South Africa hosting G20 without Trump, creating leadership opportunities. Zambia and Eswatini receiving first doses of HIV drug lenacapavir. TotalEnergies facing war crimes claims in Mozambique. India aiding Botswana amid medicine shortages. Smart Africa Alliance advancing a single digital market by 2030. And of course, the Bank of Namibia Symposium, which shone a light on the creative industries in the country. DSTV 2 at 5, GOTV 25, 1up2.com, NTVAFRIKA.MY.NA, and NTV Africa on YouTube are precisely where you can watch the show. And keep in mind, that is Africa with a K. Tomorrow we return as Ari Hogat delivers the South Africa report. And as always, we bring you the quoted headlines from across the continent. My name is Ashwin Berry. This has been Africa Good Morning. Swera Jakanaka.